Glencoe, Alabama, with a very familiar face at a different place. This is Coach Scott Martin. He needs no introduction with our channel. He's been on several times, done several coaches shows actually with this young man. And Coach, first of all, how you been doing? It's been a little bit since we caught up with you.
Oh, I've been doing great. Just enjoying a little time off. Looking forward to getting back into the football coaching world here this next football season. Of course, it actually starts this summer. And looking forward to getting the Yellow Jackets on a roll.
Now, Coach, you've taken over the job here at Glencoe, but for those who do not know you, maybe that has been under a rock or whatever, that hadn't been watching our channel, you had a very similar situation at Ohatchee when you took over. They wasn't winning too many games at that time, and they took a chance on you. And tell us a little bit what happened there and how you made that happen.
Well, I mean, when I took over at Ohatchee back in 2014, they'd been coming off 11 straight non-winning seasons. And, of course, it was a job that not a lot of people were coveting at the time. And, of course, I moved over from Hillcrest out of Tuscaloosa and married my wife, Shirley Millwood. And we had to find a place, and we found a place. Ohatchee came open. We were able to buy a place in Ohatchee. Started the football program from scratch. Had a lot of young coaches, inherited the staff. A lot of people, what were we going to do? And I think one of the things that we did, we were able to turn around the program in a short period of time, but it didn't start without a few headaches. We started out 1-9 my first year, but then we made some changes offensively. And then the next year we were 4-6, and you could tell the program was rolling on. And then from that point on, we won 60-plus games over the next 6 years and had a few good runs.
Absolutely, including beating teams such as like Piedmont and many teams, Walter Welborn and teams like that. But what was it in those early few years? Something clicked, obviously.
A lot of it's just the consistency. Consistency from day to day, from year to year. Not a lot of turnover in our staff, but not a lot of turnover in what we were doing. Our young men that came in the 7th grade were still doing the same things offensively and defensively and in the weight room that they were doing when, they left as seniors. And I think that's the biggest thing is the continuity of the program from year to year to year to year. And when I went to Ohatchee, I was the 6th coach in their last 11 years. And so, I'm really the 4th coach here in the last 6 years or so. So there's a lot of similarity in that. And I think the biggest thing is going to be the consistency from year to year.
Now, when you left Ohatchee, you were battling something a little bit different. You had got to the sort of speak on top of the mountain or close to it.
Yeah. And
you have to battle, not being complacent. And that's a whole nother battle that you hope to get to one day. Talk about that a little bit before we go into.
Well, it is. I mean, when you start at the bottom, the expectations aren't as high. Now they're high from me. They're high from our coaches. We talk about that all the time. But then it's convincing those kids and having the kids believe in what you're telling them. And I think that we were able to do that. And then once you get to a point where you start winning consistently and winning a lot, then yes, you start fighting the complacency of it. But we as coaches, we never were able to get to that point where I think we were just super non-complacent because we played the best teams on our schedule, absolutely awesome every year. We didn't take any games for granted on teams that might not have been as good as we were. So I thought that our mindset, every year that we were there got better and better and better. And, I think each class is different because obviously it's a different senior class. It's not like professional football where, those guys stay as a nucleus for a while. This group turns over every year in high school football. And so there's always going to be a new group of seniors, juniors, sophomores, et cetera. So I think each team has an identity of their own. And I think you can build off the previous identities. But the one thing you can't do is, like you said, become complacent and just say, hey, we're good. There's a way to become good, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And I think that's the thing you've got to sell to your kids.
No doubt. Now, if I went and asked the administration, there's something obviously they seen in you to entice you to come here. But what was it you seen in Glencoe that you were like, hey, your ears perked up when you heard the job?
Well, I mean, other than similarities of the job I took previous to this one, it's the skeletal makeup, the facilities, the young men that are involved in the program, our coaching staff. There's a lot of great moving parts here. We just got to get them all on the same page. And I think, that was one of the biggest things that, coming into this job, one of the first things that you've got to do as a coach is damage control, because kids are very resilient. They'll bounce back from anything, but they want to be successful. So when there's a lot of turnover in a program, or they're not sure who the leader is, then they have a tendency to say, well, I'm going somewhere else, because they already know that's established. They know who the guy is in charge. They know what they've been able to accomplish. So up until last week, that was not something that was, very solid where I'm sitting right now. So I think it's changed a little bit. I think that, the word's gotten out there in the last few days of what who's in charge, what we're doing. So I think now the kids have moved from not that, by gosh, we're wholesaling, jumping ship. It's, well, let me go find out about this guy. Let me see if this is going to be what I'm really looking for. So over the next week or so, that's what I'm going to be doing, is trying to, sell our program, but also at the same time, this is where these kids have grown up their whole life. They really want to wear black and gold and go out on that field on Friday night. They're not the only reason they're looking for a place to move at times when they talk about it is because there is uncertainty in the football program, uncertainty in where it's going. But now that a head coach has been hired from the top down, now we've got to turn around and say, okay, this is what our program is going to be. This is what we have accomplished. We know how to get this done, and we want you to be a part of that, because there's always got to be a starting place. But who doesn't have a place to start? It's those seniors. This is it for them. So when those guys start talking about we might leave, it's because they know the end of their careers, it's right here. So as coaches and players, there's a huge sense of urgency. I don't look at it and say, well, we'll be good in a few years. I don't have a few years. For those guys, the future's right now. That's right. And so over the next 2.5 months before we kick off for that first game, we've got to do everything we can to put the best product on the football field and have a chance to be successful and be competitive. And there's no doubt in my mind we can do that. Absolutely no doubt.
No doubt. And, man, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Coach, when we first walked in here and you walked the facilities with us, we're in so many schools. I mean, we're in 50 schools around. This is a very special place facility-wise.
It is, and it's a special place community-wise.
There you go.
It's such a, I met a lot of good people out, this past weekend at Bash in the Bend, and I met a lot of great Glencoe people. I met, city council people. I met just great supporters of the school itself, and they all have one common theme, and it's, hey, we're tired of losing. And, and we'll do anything we can to get this thing back where it needs to be. So there's a great sense of pride within our community. And when you have those guys excited, your kids are naturally going to be excited, because a lot of the kids either are children of these people I've talked to, or they know the people I've talked to. And so when those people in the community start saying good things about your program before we've ever kicked it off, those kids' ears perk up. And they get excited. Now they're more curious than they are trying to grab their stuff and get out. They're ready to find out what we're going to do in the next step we're going to take.
What would be your message to some of those guys that's here that may, heard the rumblings or even considered leaving? What would be your first message you'd like to say to them?
Well, first of all, is give us a chance. The proof's in the pudding. We've done it. All you have to do is look back 8 years and see where we came in 8 years at my previous job. But the reality of it is, you've got all the things here to be successful and to be successful now. And I know that puts a lot of pressure on people like me and coaches, but that's why we take the job, because I'm a very confident person that we can get done what we need to get done. And so I tell those guys, give us a chance. If you have any questions, my door is always open. It's not open now, but anyway, my door is always open. But I want you to come in and visit with me. Just don't dismiss us and not come in and give us a chance and talk to us about what your concerns are. Because, his concern might be different from his concern, might be different from his concern. But the thing is, if you never talk to us, you never know what the answers are. And so I think the one thing that the kids are going to find out is, my goals are going to be as high as anybody they go talk to at any other school. And then the other thing is most of these kids have grown up, were born in this area, and have grown up wearing black and gold.
Right here.
So why would you want to wear anything, the last part of your career than black and gold? So that's what we're going to push real hard.
Now, I know you said you even got a clipboard you're going to walk around and take time and everything today. That's how early this interview is.
Yeah.
But what is just some of the things that you know right off the bat that you're going to dive into immediately?
Just the organization of our program. Get everybody on the same page. I mean, there has to be organization and structure, and that's the first thing that's going to happen. And then taking and evaluating our facility from top to bottom. Are there any dire needs that we have to, or things that we have to answer, questions we have to answer right now? And I really can't. You're right. This is so early. This is day one. I actually came in Friday afternoon, but here we are Monday morning. This is day one. So I can't tell you any of those specifically, but I'm going to walk around with a notepad and I'm going to make notes of things that I think we need, and then turn around after I do all that and then rank them in order of importance. What's going to be the most important to get us where we need to be the quickest we need to be there. And then, and then we can start checking that list.
Yeah. And what's something you'd like to say to some of the, let's just call them supporters or obviously parents of the program, people that's vested in this program, some of the guarantees you'd like to give them right off the bat?
Well, we're going to make you proud again. I know a lot of the people are tired of losing, tired of being on the wrong end of the scoreboard. Some of the other little things, just how we handle ourselves, how we carry ourselves, the professionalism that we exhibit when we walk out on the field, how we play, the passion, the emotion, doing it all within, from the snap to the whistle, and giving everything we can and just the effort that the kids give. And then seeing the passion, that passion will bleed right into, our student body, into our school, into our community. And, the greatest night's going to be when we walk out there and that stadium's packed. And I look forward to that.
That's right. Now, you envisioned a lot of things when you went to Ohatchee, and a lot of them come to fruition. I mean, when you get here and you walked out and you see some of the things that they've done here, they won the state in '73 and region championships and stuff like that. What would be your ideal Friday night here in Glencoe, Alabama? What would that look like just from when you first took the ball?
It would be playing for a region championship, ASAP. I mean, because, we don't control everything, but if we can control and get into the region championship, and then on top of that is put ourselves in a position where we can get in the playoffs, because you never know what happens when you get in the playoffs. It's a wide open field right there. But these kids have to taste some success, and success will breed success, and those are cliches that we all use, but they're truisms also, because if you aren't, believing in yourselves, and you aren't exuding that when you walk out on the practice field, when you come into the weight room, when when you're putting on your clothes every day, if you don't really believe that, then it's not going to happen for you. So we've got a lot of, we've got to talk to these guys, and we've got to make them believe, not just through what we say and through what they say, but actually, our mannerisms and how we handle ourselves and how we actually put forth the effort to get there.
How would you judge success in a first season like this where, you're coming in not knowing everyone and the standard that's been set here and your standard you have in your mind? At the end of the season, if we ask you that same question, what would you actually judge your success on?
I can't tell you that, because, the only thing I'm looking forward to right now is the next 2.5 months of getting these guys organized to work out. And then on August 26th, we travel to Weaver to play the first game. And that's all that we're focused on or are going to be focused on. Now we've got to focus on that 2.5 months worth of work between now and then. But as far as judging success, I can't put a number on that. Yeah. Because I don't know what the capability of our football team is. I haven't, I've met one or two of these young men, but I look around and see all the helmets in the lockers. I don't know what heads fill those helmets up. And so, I'm going to have to meet with them, talk with them, see them in action. What type of effort are we going to get, when we get into the off-season conditioning? Because the conditioning is pretty extensive. It's pretty hard. A lot of it's, mental conditioning, but it's also conditioning you to get ready to go play on Friday night. So, I got to see where their hearts are. If they're not willing to sacrifice to do that, then it's going to be hard to be real successful. But I just, in the back of my mind, I have this little thing pecking on me saying that, these kids are real hungry. The staff's hungry. The school's hungry. The community's hungry. So, man, when you can get that kind of momentum going, if you can get that to tidal wave up the faster the better, then you got a chance to be successful.
I agree with that. Man, this region that you guys are in, you're very familiar with.
I think it got tougher.
If you, I honestly do too. When you bring in, Plainview that was ranked in the top 5 last year, and then Geraldine and Sylvania.
I mean, the only one in that region, they all 3 made the playoffs. The only one you didn't get was Fife, and they went back down to AA. Right. So, had they stayed in AAA, we might have got them too.
Probably would have.
I mean, so and then you trade them out. I mean, I think the region definitely. There's some unknowns in those guys, but the reality, I mean, Westbrook came in also, and Westbrook's always been very competitive playoff team. So, I mean, it's those 4 guys that came in were all 4 playoff teams. Out of the 4 that we lost, only 2 of them were playoff teams. So, how can you say that it didn't get tougher?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. But my point to that is, if you can get it done in this region, there's anywhere in the state you can get it done.
Absolutely. I mean, if you get out of this region and can get in there playing in week 11, then you got a chance. Because how many times has this region had 2, 3, or 4 teams make it to the semis? Or not the semis, but to the quarters, to the Final Four in the North. Yeah. The Final Four in the North has been this region 2, 3, or 4 teams for a long time.
Last year it was a sweep.
Yeah, and it was a sweep in 16 also.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what some of your let's go ahead and just say your final thoughts you'd like to tell the community, the players, anyone who wants to listen. If we wrap the interview up here, just final thoughts for everyone.
Well, first of all, I appreciate y'all coming out today on short notice and calling me and saying, hey, can we do this? Because I want the word out in our community, this is going to be a special place again. It's a special place in everybody's hearts already, but I want it to be a special place on Friday night. I want it to be a place that people are, the town shuts down and there's one place to be.
That's right. And
I think that, they give us the chance to do that, and the kids do what we ask them to do. I think it'll be an exciting place and one that our town will be proud of. And like I said, it's a rich tradition. You can look at all the things on the side of the building that have been accomplished. You can look at the people that have come through here. All the coaches are, if they're not from here, they've got ties through here. And so it means a lot to them, not just on Friday night, but 365 days a year. And, football is an exciting time. High school football is an exciting time in the state of Alabama. And so I can't wait till, like I said, August 26th. And I hope that we can pack that one side of Weaver Stadium and bring the Yellow Jackets home a victory.
Absolutely. Coach, good luck to you. And I know you got your work cut out for you, but I also know that you ain't going to stop till you get the job done.
That's true. Thank you.